Hi, my name is not Hannah, you can call me Anna. I was tagged by PeterClarkTheWriter to do the seafood book tag. This tag was originally created by Josh from Literary Gladiators, and you can check out that video in the description. Question number 1 is lobster, a work you enjoyed a lot more after reading it for a second time. Even though I could answer this question with Harry Potter, I thought I would be a little bit more exciting and choose something different. So I chose Graceling by Kristen Cashaw. I have read this book before, but my sister and I are currently reading it again together because we really like these books. And honestly, I had forgotten so much from these books that rereading it is just amazing and so much fun, and I really like it. Even though I think the writing style is probably aimed at people younger than I am, I still really love the book. Question number 2 is Caviar, a renowned work in the eyes of the canon that you cannot stand. I had to go with this one, even though I know that there are a lot of people who agree with me that it's not canon, simply because it kind of is canon. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I can't stand this book at all, so let's just forget that it ever happened. Question number 3 is Crab, a book that is hard to find but worth the search. For this one I chose the Reckless series by Cornelia Funk, or Funky, however you pronounce that. I recently got the Golden Yarn, which is this one, the 3rd one in the series, and I have the other 2 up on my shelf behind me. I really like the books, even though I think they're probably meant for a younger audience than myself. But I really like them. The reason I thought of this one for this particular question is because I found book 2 before I found book 1, and then I went searching and I had to search like a million bookstores for book 1, and it took me ages, but I finally found it and I really enjoyed it. Question number 4 is Shrimp, a writer that is well-rounded. If this question is referring to a writer that's kind of done a whole lot of different genres and stuff, I don't really know. I tend to pick writers that kind of stick in one genre just because I like that genre and I'm reading it for that reason. But for this answer, I decided to go with Kate Morton, even though I've only read one book by Kate Morton, because I really loved it. And the writing style was just well above anything I feel like I've ever read before. It was amazing. It just felt like the play on words, the style, it was like poetry. It was just beautiful and so well thought out and written, and just, I don't know how to explain this. Kate Morton. Question number 5 is Salmon, an educational non-fiction book that grabbed your attention. I don't have an answer for this one. I'm not a fan of non-fiction books, unfortunately. Question number 6 is Seaweed, a difficult chapter in what was otherwise a really great book. For this question, I decided to pick This Is Where the World Ends. If you have read this book, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you haven't read this book, it's kind of a spoiler. Basically, there's a chapter just kind of explaining what the main character goes through, and it was just really hard to get through. Not because of the writing style or anything, it was just the actual content was hard to read. If you've read it, you know what I mean. If you haven't, then read it. But if you have any like triggers, maybe you should research about the book first. Question number 7 is Jellyfish, a book that you think people would be surprised to know that you have read. I can't really think of any book that people would be surprised to know that I've read, except maybe for the Morganville Vampire series, even though I haven't finished them. A lot of my books are either like fantasy or contemporary YA and like romance type books. So the Morganville Vampires with like vampires, I know it's kind of a mix of low fantasy with like contemporary, but it's just not really the same genres as everything else I read, so maybe people would be surprised by that. I don't know. Question number 8 is Tuna, a best-selling author you feel possesses great qualities, and once again I'm going to go with Kate Morton, so just refer back to question 4. Question number 9 is Trout, a work where your opinion was heavily influenced or inspired by time, place, or point of view. The book I chose for this was Let It Snow by John Green and a couple others, just because it's like a Christmas book, and I think I read it around Christmas time, so just the whole atmosphere of Christmas just really made me enjoy it so much. I would really recommend, if you're gonna read a Christmas book, read it around Christmas time, because it makes it like 100 times more fun. Even if you live in Australia where it is boiling hot at Christmas time, it's still fun to read about snow. Question number 10 is Cod, a dense read that you feel people could potentially really enjoy if given the patience. The Lord of the Rings. I needed patience to read this book. It was really long and really tricky at some points, but I really did enjoy it. I've read the whole series now and I do not regret it. It was so much fun and I love the story and I love learning so much more about the characters and what actually happened that you don't get to see in the movies. Question number 11 is Eel, the writer you feel shocks you the most. I actually found it difficult to think of an answer for this one as well. I wondered about choosing Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff simply for their Illuminae and Gemina books because they were really just like, I guess, shocking. I never saw what was coming. But for the shock factor, I'm actually gonna choose a book that I have only read once, and it's the only book by this author that I have ever read, and I didn't really like it because it was so shocking. Obedience by Will Lavender. I don't often talk about this book because it made me so angry. The only way I can think to describe or explain this book to you is that basically the students are in a logic and reasoning class and the teacher gives them a scenario to work out and they actually kind of figure out that it seems to be real. I don't know if that makes sense, but it feels like a social experiment where this teacher is just messing with the kids' minds, and they messed with my mind too. So it made me mad. Question number 12 is Sturgeon. Your favorite work written or set before the Common Era. I know this is kind of cheating because it kind of comes into this era a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Harry Potter because it is my favorite and it starts before this decade. The last couple of questions seem to just be seafood related, so I'm just gonna kind of rush through them. Question number 13, fish on a dish. What is your favorite seafood/seafood dish? Honestly, it's this pizza that I can get with prawns on it. It's the best thing ever. Question number 14, fish your wish. What kind of seafood do you wish to try? None. Question number 15, fish and chips. Who do you tag? I'm gonna tag everyone who, like me, is currently wearing a Harry Potter t-shirt. I am wearing a Hufflepuff t-shirt, in case you want to know. So if you're wearing, not even just a t-shirt, if you're wearing anything Harry Potter related right now, you are tagged and you have to do the tag, even if you don't like seafood. There is a bonus question which says what type of seafood is your favorite, but I don't really have a favorite. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And if you would like to subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified of every time that I upload a new video, just click here. And if you would also like to check out the latest video that I've uploaded, just click on the box underneath. Ciao for now, monkeys!